It's corn country. NASCAR heads to Iowa for its first ever Cup Series race. We'll give you our best bets and DFS tiers for the occasion. All this and more next on the Backroad.
It's a non-points race, but it is a short race. Checkered flag. That's all this race
All right, and welcome down the Backroad in between media's NASCAR betting and DFS program. Now nearly halfway through the year 2024, as well as the NASCAR season, we head to the Midwest, Iowa to be exact, and it seems like the perfect time. I was out on the bike today and noticed the corn stalks, they're starting to poke through, so very fitting for the Iowa Corn 350. My name is Seth Woolcock, and no, I'm not alone tonight. I'm joined by my new friend from up north. He's the host of the Hot Pass podcast and also has some pretty fucking sweet arm sleeves going on right now. Eric Furlong. Eric, how are you doing tonight, man?
Fantastic. I didn't realize, well, I guess everybody's going to find out I'm pretty heavily tattooed. It's not just my arms, it's the back of my head, my neck, my chest, my back, everything. So that's how, like, all the NASCAR money goes into tattoos. That's how it works.
Okay. All right. I respect it, man. I've been wanting to get a tat for a while. And I think I'm a little too much of a pussy for it. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if I could sit there specifically on the back of the head. That would be a painful one, my friend.
Yeah, that was by far, that was the only one that I couldn't do like a full sitting for. I did the whole back 6.5 hours straight. And, but the back of the head, I tapped out.
I can very much imagine, man. This is the last weekend before I head out to like a month straight. I got reunions, weddings, a couple Cup Series races we're going to be covering here in the state of Pennsylvania in the next month. So I'm going to be enjoying sweating out some wagers from home. I'll have the garage open, have some beers flowing Saturday and Sunday night. So excited for that. Tonight on the program, we're going to react to Sonoma. We're going to break down Iowa. We're going to give our best bets for the Cup and Xfinity Series races, as well as do some DFS rankings, and hang around to the end. Subscribe if you're new, because we are going to do a subscriber giveaway. We did one a couple weeks ago for a Tyler Reddick diecast, as well as a mystery diecast we're going to throw in there, and the guy never claimed it. So it's back up for grabs here, Eric. You can even enter yourself.
Am I eligible? I love Ty Reddick, baby. Little team red.
Yeah, it's not autographed, though, because I got bamboozled when I got it. I got it from the autograph page, was not autographed. But excited to give that to an IBT listener tonight. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us, especially through some tech difficulties early on here in the program. We got Charles hanging out with us tonight saying,
Big C.
Sounds good. Yeah, he's ready to go here. He said, I did a single session of 5 hours on my shoulder. Woo! All right, man. Another guy going through it, saying MTJ running out of gas. Definitely took money from what I thought could cash on the last lap. Dude, I get it. Man.
He lost his tattoo money right there.
He did. Charles, we weren't on MTJ last week. What happened, man? We were on the Backroad program Thursday night. We talked no MTJ, so I don't know where you got betting him in your head, but I understand. We got Tino hanging out with us tonight. What's up, Tino? Newest member of the IBT media staff as well, Tino. So thankful for him tuning in tonight as well. And Eric, let's go ahead before we break down Iowa and what's going to be a race that we can, put the pieces together as best as we can. We do have Sonoma to look back at, and what was one of the most successful betting weekends of my life. So excited to go there. Let's talk about it here in the rear view.
You want me to get...
All right, and we're going to talk about Sonoma wine country. It was a really fun weekend of racing out there in California. on Saturday night in the Xfinity race. SVG does it again. And man, this had a little bit of everything. We had a big crash, Eric. We had some strategy, a late race restart as well, that Austin Hill ends up acting like an asshole once again after the race. Thoughts on Saturday night and SVG and the whole crew?
So I didn't realize that this is also a hatred of Austin Hill show as well. So let's everybody high five each other and let's all come together. Can I swear on this podcast?
Oh, absolutely.
Fuck Austin Hill, baby. Everybody get a clap in the chat because nobody likes fucking Austin Hill. Guy got what he deserved. There's nothing else I need to say on that part, that he's an asshole and RCR can go burn in hell, even though I'm wearing an RCR shirt. But SVG, like we predicted, I feel like on my show, I kind of just said that it's SVG or bust.
Yep.
When it comes to outright. But at least for me on a betting side, I mean, if they're going to keep giving us lines for Sam Mayer top 5 at like 2-1 and stuff all the time, I'm going to hammer it every time. Sheldon Creed, I hit that top 3. It's just like, I'll never bet him outright again because the man can't win.
Absolutely.
But the consistently Xfinity seems to be the better racing. I think we all can, unanimously agree on that. It's just like, I have a hot take about the Cup Series. We'll get there, but the Xfinity was a great race. We knew chaos was going to come at some point. I don't agree with the Jesse Love caution, but overall, I thought it was a great fucking race, man.
I really enjoyed it. This was the first full race that I sat my dad down. We were out in the garage. We were hanging out. The first race he's watching over a decade, and he fell in love with SVG. He loved what I told him at the very beginning, who I had money on. He was watching SVG. So I think for his birthday coming up here, I'm going to try to give him some SVG merch. And but like, that's the power this guy has in this sport. He made a guy who grew up on NASCAR kind of fell out of love with it, kind of fall back in love with it, especially the burnout after the fact.
Tokyo Drift, dude. Oh my God. He's always smiling. He's the nicest guy. Like anytime I've ever met him, it's just like always friendly. That's all I got a couple Australian friends. They're all like the nicest people. And I don't think if there's somebody out there that goes, I like Austin Hill over SVG, a person can die. Are you crazy? Unless you're from the Peach Country in Georgia, that's the only way I could accept it.
Sure. Yeah. Unless you're a Georgia boy down there or gal, I don't know how much love there is for Big Country these days.
I can tell you, if a girl had it on Hinge or Tinder that she was an Austin Hill fan, I'm swiping left 5 times over.
Also, no shade, but Justin Allgaier should be ashamed of himself. My bet of the week last week was Allgaier over Creed. I don't know. He had the speed in practice and something about Sonoma, like he just wasn't in the conversation all day. It wasn't like he was a dog shit car, but running right around like 7th to 10th all day. So that was a bummer. Outside of that, it was a great Xfinity race for me. We got Charles saying in the chat, SVG with the full track drift 2 weeks in a row is legendary. Agreed. And we've heard from Joey Logano and the boys in the booth how hard that is to do in a stock car. Charles also saying, I'm born and raised in ATL. What do you think of Austin Hill, Charles?
Yeah, I need to get this opinion, dude. That would be a little bit of a wild. If he likes him, out of the chat. See you later. Pish posh.
He gave us a nice super chat last week, so I will let Charles stay, but maybe I'll think a little less of him. In the Cup Series race last week, Eric, Kyle Larson proves he's still one of the best when it comes to being on the offense. In a near historic Sonoma race on the repave, it was kind of really like we saw the repave, we saw the low tire wear at work. People kind of running every qualifying or every lap was a qualifying lap. 7 cautions in stage 1 and 2. Some strategy came into play late. Drivers like Martin Truex Jr., Chris Buescher kind of dealt their cards correctly. And you're wondering at the end of the race, how the fuck did these guys get up here? Because we're going into it, we like Buescher, we like Martin, but we're like, how are they going to get the track position? Well, they found out how to do it. But Larson ends up charging through the field. Martin Truex Jr., as we alluded to earlier in the show, runs out of gas right in front of the start-finish line. And the Melon Man that we all knew and love, he's back saying he doesn't give a fuck, takes out Kyle Busch on the last lap. Help me cash a Chase Elliott top 5. So I'm thrilled with my boy Ross once again. Your thoughts on a great Cup race, one of my favorite ever at Sonoma.
Well, then I must be the only one that didn't like it. So I was sitting there with I have listened to the Hot Pass podcast, shameless plug. The show that I came out on Monday, I record every Monday and Friday, and I was sitting there watching. I'm not an F1 person. I don't get
Sure.
this twist, okay? But I watched the Canadian Grand Prix last week, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, this was actually like a good race. And we all have to admit when F1 has a good race. But
Absolutely.
dude, then we go from watching like a good F1 race to I'm falling asleep because we're running all these caution laps and it felt like it lasted an hour and a half. I was sitting there watching with F1 fans trying to get them into NASCAR, and it just aren't within the first two stages, definitely stage. So I'm a Kyle Larson hater. So I was just like, great. So we had to wait all this time, basically almost 3.5, 4 hours just to watch Larson win again. It was exciting at the end. It was great. But no tire fall off. We still couldn't really pass. So like, I was like, okay, I get it. We all like chaos and calamity, but maybe maybe I'm the only one thinking this way, but I didn't really like the race, but
Wow. Okay.
it's a hot take. I love my NASCAR, but I just like, at this point, I'm like, if this weekend sucks in Iowa, and we'll get to that, but like, I'm going to be pissed because we're supposed to come to Canada and I'm just going to be ultimately 2 weeks frustrated.
Sure. Oh yeah, I completely understand you being our brother from up north there, man. Iowa's kind of a 1 year deal here, and then I think we'll get up to Montreal there. But regardless, great betting weekend for the IBT family. I gave out the Justin Allgaier over Creed bet. Fucked myself there, lost 3 units on that one. However, on the weekend, up 13.5 units. Thank you, Kyle Larson. Thank you, SVG. Chase, Chris Buescher, and the boys. I appreciate that one, man.
You and me both, man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, we're the exact same. I got 13.5 units with F1 and Xfinity Cup. I just went even.
Okay.
It was perfect.
Okay. Who were you on? Were you on anyone big in Cup that came through for you or came through for you in Xfinity that you want to give a shout out? Seems like a little Sam Mayer action.
So yeah, the plays I took, I had early on Parker Kligerman over Austin Hill, just because that's the only time Parker Kligerman ever shows up is on high tire wear or road courses. That didn't play out, but close. Austin Hill could have exploded. That would have been great. But I hit easy Sam Mayer top 5. A lot of the books had him plus 110. Bet 365, God bless you. They had him at like plus 220. So I hammered the shit out of that.
Wow.
And then Sheldon Creed 8-1 for a top 3. That was crazy. Yeah, man. Yeah. Bet 365. I'm not sponsored by Bet 365, but they give out like, they're usually a little bit later of changing their odds. And then the Cup Series, there was a couple of head-to-heads. And then I had Tyler Reddick winning the first stage.
Okay. Shout out to you.
And just before, I was going to take either Kyle Busch or Ross, or both Kyle Busch and Ross Chastain, but the lines closed early. And Kyle Busch was like 8-1 for a top 5, and then Ross was like about 2-1. I was going to hammer both of them, so that situation would have played out just fine for me either way.
Absolutely. Looks like we got Lana in the chat hanging out with us. Hey, what's up, Lana? Good to see you again. Appreciate you tuning in as always. Charles also saying more of a Jesse Love fan than an Austin Hill fan. We appreciate that. You could even be a Chase Elliott fan over an Austin Hill fan. We'd appreciate that. Bob saying road races are the bomb. Look, I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's something in the water up there at Sonoma. I've never been there. I fucking hit winners every time I go there. So I love the place. Like I know the race maybe not have been the best from some people's standpoint. Eric, you didn't seem to love it, but I
love Xfinity road course racing. That shit's amazing. Truck races, get more trucks back. Well, trucks are a little chaos, but bring those. Cup Series, they're running the short track package. Like, we got to figure something out, because I was at Watkins Glen last year in the fall, and we left early. It was so bad. So we'll continue. I'll leave it in the rear view until the next time we go.
There you go. I appreciate it. Let's go ahead. Let's turn the page though to Iowa. Let's break down what we can assemble of the puzzle that is going to be Iowa Speedway here on Saturday and Sunday here in Horizon Forecast.
Hey, Michael, it was only 20% chance of rain. I think we got all 20.
All right. So if you're maybe new to NASCAR and you're like, what is Iowa? Like why haven't we been in Iowa? This is a track that Xfinity ran from about 2011 to 2019. The Truck Series ran from 2009 to 2019. And it's actually kind of a newer track. It was made in the 2000s. It's kind of a newer track, owned, I believe, by NASCAR as well. So nothing too crazy there, but we haven't been here in a Cup car here, Eric. It's an 0.875 mile short flat track. There's roughly going to be 1 to 2 lanes, depending how what you believe out there on the internet, of repave going around these corners. The repave happened last fall. Apparently, they didn't have time to repave the whole track. So passing could be at a premium here. However, NASCAR will be using the prime tires that they tried at North Wilkesboro. It'll be a night race, though. So I don't know if we're expecting a lot of wear. I don't know if we're expecting a lot of passing. Just hearing what I had to say there, like, how do you expect this race to play out from a viewing standpoint on Sunday specifically?
Choo choo, let's ride the single file train, baby. It's going to
Yeah.
be in circles, and we should have been in Canada. Let's go choo choo.
Yep, I'm with you there. I think there will be a lack of passing. I am heavier on pre-practice and qualifying than I honestly wanted to be, just because I did find some value down the board a little bit. But this is a race, like, make sure you're betting and playing people in DFS. If you're setting lineups early, like, make sure it's people who are going to start out front or have a good history of qualifying on the short flat tracks. Maybe have a little bit of history here at Iowa qualifying well in the other series, because if you go all in on someone now and they don't qualify up front, last week I was sweating it. I had a lot of Buscher pre-practice and qualifying, and I didn't love that he was in the back. It's going to be even harder this week in the pass, I think. So how are you approaching it from a unit allocation pre-practice and qualifying, Eric?
Pre-practice and qualifying, I'm kind of just looking at what we've got for Richmond, Gateway, and Phoenix.
Yeah.
The guys that, like, the older boys, I mean, Martin Truex, I've got him outright. I don't know how you do it, if you want me to wait or whatever to give out my picks, but I kind of just look at, like, guys that are a little bit longer, kind of usually show up at, like, Richmond and Phoenix and stuff. I mean, it's really difficult to figure it out, but I mean, the guys that usually dominate boring races, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, and Martin Truex, I'd be kind of looking wherever you can get them at a decent number, but, like, kind of holding off on betting a lot. I just want to see what we've got.
Okay. Rachel hanging out with us in the chat as well. What's up, Rachel? Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. We appreciate you. Those primary comp tracks that you did allude to from 2023 here, again, it's all debatable. Like we can say these are the comp tracks. They are what we weight our data and our data sets for. But Richmond, Phoenix, Gateway, it's all very much conjecture. Also, some secondary comp tracks. You can kind of factor in New Hampshire from last year as well. We'll be there, I think, just next week. I think in the Cup Series as well, and we'll be running the same prime tires there. So something to keep in mind. Also, something I weighed very heavily into my bets, and I think the books did somewhat. There was a tire test here last month. Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, and Brad Keselowski were their manufacturer chosen drivers who went and tested on May 28th. That's not even a month away. That was, just right before the Indy 500. So it's something I definitely kept in mind, because it seems like whether it was SVG, who ran laps last month at Sonoma, and that was a sign for me, hey, I should go heavy on him. Or when we were at North Wilkesboro a couple weeks ago as well, Joey Logano, Ty Gibbs, the guys we saw show out, also were in that tire test. So the tire test fucking matters for me, Eric. I'm going to be honest. Like, it matters for me. I don't know if you put it in your handicapping as much as I did, but I'm full send on those guys. Give Kyle Larson, Brad, and Bell. Like, these are good drivers too. These are smart, analytical drivers that can take some data back, not just for them, but for their teams.
Yeah, I took it a little bit, and I think I listened to a bit of Dirty Modo today, and they ended up saying, Steve Letarte ended up saying he knows how Hendrick Motorsports works. So if one guy goes and does a test, it's open book for all other 3 drivers to go and take a look at the data. So you'll hear that in a little bit when I give out picks. So I was like, I think you got to start looking at the other 2 that are the longer shots of Hendrick. So go look at the sports books. and go take a look at those two guys that they're for some reason longer. Christopher Bell, again, fast at Gateway, okay? Like should have fucking won the race, but and then insane at Phoenix. But that man is so snake bitten to the point that you cannot have him at plus 350, plus 375. I get it that they're really looking, they're doing the same thing as you, weighing it as like that tire test is very significant. But then, well, why isn't Kyle Larson right there? Right? Because Kyle Larson's the dominant guy on the majority of the weeks, and he did the tire test.
Yeah.
So I think the tire test is really important. Brad Keselowski will be interesting because he doesn't usually qualify the best.
Absolutely.
But I think it's really important.
Charles making a great point, saying this will be a night race, so no, not daytime like the tire test. I think the air will be cooler, which means higher horsepower and hopefully leads to more tire wear. Here's what I'll say though, Charles. Couple things on this. One, it seems like we actually like it's not going to be cool. It's going to be 90 degrees at 7 p.m. in Newton, Iowa, where this race is going to be held. So it might be a little cooler. It's not going to be 100 like it's going to get up too close during the day. It's still going to be fucking 90 degrees. It's still going to be hot and slick out there. So that's something you have to keep in mind. It'll be a little bit cooler, but I don't think we're going to see a ton of tire wear. I think it's going to be too hot for the tire wear. And whether it was in the Dover practice when we were there at the track earlier this year, or when it was at Bristol earlier this year, it's like the cooler temps usually lead to more tire wear. So I'm personally not expecting it unless we see a forecast change. Like, you're definitely onto something, Charles, that usually it could be a little cooler at night. We could see a little more tire wear, but I just don't think that's the case. Looking at the schedule here for Friday, we're going to get some practice 4:35 p.m. Eastern time. That's when Xfinity goes, and then Cup will go an hour later at 5:35. Saturday, then Cup qualifying at 12:05. Or excuse me, that is totally wrong. No, I think it might be right, actually. 12:05 Eastern time, Cup qualifying, and then 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, Xfinity race, the HyVee Perks 250. What the fuck is HyVee Perks? I literally Googled it, and I still couldn't get an answer.
We need just main sponsors of races. We're making these weird names. Next week is NASCAR Cup Series race at New Hampshire. I go, the hell is that? Couldn't find a sponsor. I want a crazy name at this point. It's a little bland, but I mean, as what he was saying about like the night race and all this stuff, I go, at some point, can we have guys work at night and just do the tire test at night? Right. If we're going to be doing a night race? I mean, maybe it costs a little bit more money. Maybe you're paying guys overtime. I don't care. Let's figure this thing out because it's bad, man. These tires and these short track packages are bad.
Absolutely. And Charles saying in the chat, damn, probably going to be single file train boring. Like, we could be totally wrong.
I hope not.
I hope not as well. But I'm just like, but honestly, sometimes those boring races are good for betting and good for DFS. So we need to keep that in mind. We could see a little calamity with people trying to maybe squeeze into that repaved groove. But I am realistically thinking this is going to be a boring race. And honestly, they did this to themselves, man. You don't repave a track half-ass like that from the middle down. Like, you just don't do it. We heard Kevin Harvick on his Happy Hour podcast bitching up a storm earlier, and like, it needed to be said. So hopefully they learn a little bit of a lesson here, Eric, because I'm thinking that's exactly what's going to happen.
So let's have fun on Saturday, enjoy the racing, and enjoy the fact that qualifying and practice is probably going to be the most exciting thing on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, tell all your friends that if they're trying to get into NASCAR, go watch something else. Go watch The Bachelorette or whatever at night rather than watching this race. I mean, hey, I'm sorry, but it's not going to be exciting. I mean, if it is,
NASCAR is NASCAR.
I will take that L. I will take that L.
We will be 6 to 8 months from now, Eric. You and I will be sitting in a hole trying to take any sort of auto racing we can get, man. So I will take it in stride, but I'm with you. I'm not expecting a ton of greatness here this weekend. A couple trends before we get into our betting picks for the night. We don't have any true trends here for Cup Series races, as we mentioned, the first one being this weekend. However, we do have some Cup Series drivers who have run here in Xfinity and in the Truck Series we can look at. Brad Keselowski leads all drivers with 3 wins in 7 races. There are 10 active Cup Series drivers as a total who have won at Iowa in the Xfinity Series. Also, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he has 3 wins in 6 races here as well. The Iowa Speedway put out a video of one of his wins. I mean, a decade plus at this point, but it was pretty fucking awesome. He got hit across the line by someone else. I think he was running out of gas. And then Christopher Bell has 2 wins in 5 races. Guys like Ryan Blaney, Eric Jones, Chris Buescher, Chase Briscoe, Ryan Preece, Rowdy, Byron, they all have 1 Xfinity win. And then Justin Allgaier, the only active Xfinity driver with a win at Iowa, something to keep in mind there. And we've also seen 5 active Cup Series drivers win a Truck Series race at Iowa. Eric Jones, old Jonesy boy, he's got 2 wins in 4 races. JHN, Blaney, Austin Dillon, Byron all have 1 win. It's something we can look at. I don't think we can totally hang our hats on it, though, Eric, just because it was so long ago. Most of those guys were in top-tier Xfinity and Truck Series equipment, but I'm still definitely considering it. Now, I'll talk a little more about it later, but I think guys like Brad and guys like Brad and Bell here, who not only have been great at this track in other series, but also been great at the comp tracks. Brad and Bell are the only 2 in this race on Sunday that have been top 10 at the Richmonds, at the Phoenix, at the Gateways this year.
I think with the Cup Series, I wouldn't even take any of it, any of the guys that have raced there in the Xfinity Series into mind at all. Like, yeah, they've been there, but like with that new repave, it's totally changed. For Xfinity though, I would take a look at Allgaier. I would take a look at Cole Custer, John Hunter Nemechek, the guys that have driven there before. They know how the track drives, and they're in the same kind of cars. So I would take a look at those more significantly in Xfinity Series rather than the Cup.
Okay. We have no iFantasyRace.com's asterisk mark driver of the week. We've never raced here in Cup Series, so they didn't put out an article this week, but make sure you guys are checking out our partner over there, iFantasyRace.com. Ryan and his team do a great deal of work over there to make sure we're ready for each and every single race weekend. And let's go ahead, Eric. Let's get into the picks here with a little bit of parking garage props. And just a reminder for those new faces who are trickling in throughout the show, we are doing a giveaway at the end of it for a Tyler Reddick diecast and a mystery diecast. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and let us know in the chat as well. Just type in subbed and we'll make sure that you're added to our list of the giveaways. Okay, and let's look at what we thought of the sportsbooks this week. I'll be honest, I woke up Monday and I was like, let's giddy the fuck up. It's Christopher Bell week. I'm ready to get down on him. I have a terrible history with Christopher Bell, Eric. I can never get him right. And I woke up on Monday saying, yeah, I think I'm ready to get back in bed with that guy. And then I see the books, they open up so heavily on him. And well, it sucks you can't really bet Christopher Bell in any market unless you want to take a stab at a top 3, which I'm good on just with how much snake bitten he's been. It still created a lot of value down the board, I think.
I think that's my favorite part is they're squeezing every last little drop out of him. It's just like the way they're doing with Austin Cindric right now, squeezing every last drop out of him until there's nothing left, and it's bumping Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson to like 7-1. I mean, that's fantastic for everybody. Yeah. So yeah, that's not a Christopher Bell week, kids. I'd be waiting until after qualifying for sure.
Yep, you got to know when to hold him. You got to know when to fold him in NASCAR betting. I wrote that in a column a couple weeks ago, and I still want to be invested in Christopher Bell. If he slips up in qualifying or practice, I'm gonna be looking. I'm gonna be looking to go after him. If he gets out there and maybe gets in a little bit of traffic early, heads towards the back, maybe I invest him there live as well. Looking at the outright market specifically, though, Eric, is there anyone you're currently invested in or that you're watching like a hawk in case we do see some line movement here pre or post practice and qualifying?
Yeah. So do you go to outrights and then you do like position props and stuff, or you just go outrights?
Yeah. Okay. Let's start outrights and then we'll go through the other markets as well.
Yeah. So I'll start off with my favorite of the week. I think there's a little bit of juju with Martin Truex. I got him 11-1 at FanDuel. Martin Truex is sitting around 10-1 on other books. And dude, Toyotas with their that it seems like they have extra downforce with with their body style and everything with this new car. If it's going to be a boring race, who shows up on boring races and ultimately makes it the most boring, but he wins in dominant fashion? Martin Truex. He also, they're saying tomorrow he's going to announce he's retiring. It would just be like, oh, this is my weekend. We're going to go to Iowa and I'm going to make it boring. And also, I'm retiring. So make everybody a bag for like one last time. I mean, it's just like 11-1 is kind of crazy for the guy. For a guy that like he should have won Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
I know, like he's good at Phoenix. I think he finished top 5 this year. Gateway, throw that out. He had engine issues. So I think he'll be good. I don't know what the lines are now for Chase Elliott, but he opened up a 20-1.
Yeah.
I got him 18-1, and now on at least at Bet365, he's 14-1. So people are on him. That guy has top 5'd his ass off. As you said, didn't you hit? You said you hit that at Sonoma.
Yep.
I mean, he's good at these style of tracks. I think Ryan from Win the Race said he's qualified at least like the worst. He's qualified in comp tracks. Is like 3rd. That's his worst. So get in on him now when you can. Don't hammer it because we don't know exactly how it's all going to race. But I mean, it's a Hendrick car at 18-1. That's a great line. So those are the only outrights I have.
Okay.
For other guys, I'm looking at like if you want to get on early, Alex Bowman at 50-1. But that's the Toyotas. For me, it's the Toyotas. You can go listen to the Hot Pass podcast. It's coming out tomorrow morning, my betting show. But like the Toyotas are so good. You have Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin,
sure,
like Martin Truex. I think they're going to be at the front. For Bowman to win, you need some late race caution stuff for him to win. So it's just really Chase Elliott, Martin Truex. I don't really have a good eye until after practice and qualifying.
So I'm not going to fault you at all for Chase. I was heavy on him last week. He came through at least for the top 5. I haven't seen it from him. I've seen the pure speed at these tracks, at the short flag. I mean, he's been fast off the trucks, but he just hasn't put it together in the races so far. But I mean, you're playing the line there, 20-1, 18-1 on a guy who's won this season, who can get it done. And if he qualifies again that high, that number is probably not going to be around. So I do like you putting me on that. I have a couple other outrights we haven't mentioned so far. I hate to do it, but I hate to be the fucking guy every week who is telling people to bet Kyle Larson. But God damn it, how can we not? Right now, Caesars is boosting this guy to 7-1 right now. And again, I know you normally don't want to take a boost. I know sometimes it can be them leading you into a trap. But hey, they boosted SVG last week on Caesars plus 325, and we hammered that. I think now's the time to get invested in Larson. This is like when I'm at the bar and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna have one more drink, and I go up and a 16 ounce is like $5, and a pitcher of beer at Busch Light is like $7. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna get the fucking pitcher. Well, I'm just gonna keep fucking betting Kyle Larson.
Yeah, whatever the hell 16 ounces is, because remember I'm Canadian, so that's probably like 355 milliliters or something.
Oh my god, you guys do milliliters up there. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, but then when we're building a house, it's all in imperial, so I don't know what the hell's going on up here. We can't make up our mind.
Okay, fair enough. But what I like about Kyle Larson, he has a couple Xfinity starts here that I'm not really factoring in. 2 top 5 finishes there. Number 6 on the total speed rankings from iFantasy Race on the short flat tracks this year. Had an off day at Phoenix. At Gateway, was taken out by Rowdy. Still was able to drive through the pack. Finished 10th there. But I like that at Richmond. Started on the pole, led 144 laps, finished 3rd that day. And let's not forget, Eric, he tested here. And he's only going to get better in another practice session on Friday. Sure, some people can catch up with him. But this is too much time for the best driver in the world to be on the track. And when it's tough to pass, when it's slick, when it's hot, it benefits Kyle Larson. As I know, it's going to be 90 degrees out, even at 7 p.m. In Newton, Iowa here on Sunday. So when I need a guy who can get through the field, be offensive, it's Kyle Larson for me. I'm going on him 7-1. I'm also going to throw out Ryan Blaney. He's also boosted at Caesars 9.5-1. And this is like Ryan Blaney's that guy when you're at the bar who he gets the number, but he can't fucking take the girl home. He just can't seal the deal here, Eric.
That's me, baby. That's me, baby.
Okay. So Eric's getting
Speaking to me, huh?
Yeah, Eric's getting the number. He ain't taking him home. And listen, dude, like we just saw this guy almost win at Gateway. That's a comp track 2 weeks ago. And if someone did their fucking job in the pits, I don't know if you want to blame it on the crew, if you want to blame it on the crew chief, whoever it is, someone fucked up there, or Ryan Blaney already has a win. And he still had the speed last week. Ran top 10 at Sonoma, which he's good at Sonoma for most road courses compared to most road courses. But still, to have the speed right off the truck and on short flats so far this year, number 5 in the total speed rankings since 2023, number 3 in the total speed rankings. If you group all the next gen races at these short flat tracks, number 1, Ryan Blaney to me. So I'm going with Larson. I'm going with Blaney, who also average finish here in Xfinity, 5.4, all top 10s, 1 win, also won a truck race here. I know some people don't think it translates, but he's won in every series here. Buckle up, man. Fucking Ryan Blaney week, baby. Let's go.
And Ford seems to be figuring things out ever so slowly, right? It was like Toyota last year or whatever. They were trying to figure out their crap, and they were really bad pretty much throughout the entire year. And it seems like Ford, obviously, I mean, Brad Keselowski and Chris Buescher have figured it out. But the only thing is like, I would just want to wait. I mean, like I can't see if he qualifies really like top 5 or something, or if he pulls it and he looks fast in practice, he's going down to like a 6 to. If he goes down to 3.5 to 1, that's absolutely marbles, and nobody's taking that. Then you're like, I beat the books.
Yeah,
but I think he'll still sit around like 8 or 9 to 1. I think Kyle Larson's going to be probably fast. He might pull it. I would probably just and Denny's probably going to be up there. Truex, maybe Bubba Wallace as well, because they're really good at qualifying. It would just be like Joey Logano, the repave master and the new track master. He could go and pull the thing. Yeah. So I think Blaney, like I personally, I'm going to wait and see. I want like a 2 to 1 for a top 5. That's what I'm looking for a Blaney.
Yeah, right now I think I found it plus 195 for the top 5, and I am waiting for the top
number.
Yeah, it was okay. I am waiting. Like, I do want some placement props or some matchups with Blaney, but I am waiting a little bit there. But I thought plus 950 for the boost when he's like 8 to 1 other places right now. I was like, I can get behind that. Bob in the chat saying new track Logano, baby. Listen, I thought about it. I really thought about it. He just didn't pop as much in my modeling this week.
I had him 45 to 1 last week, and he made the stupid. I called it out on my podcast. I called out 45 to 1. I was like, just take the old boys, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, and Logano. 45 to 1's crazy. And the guy decides to do the dumbest pit of all time and then screw himself. I was pissed. So yeah, I agree with Bob over there, Big Bob. Logano, just wait. And I might even take him live.
Okay. Charles saying thoughts on Ty Gibbs this week. Was super fast at the Coliseum. Typically runs well on short tracks. I have a bet. I'm going to fade Ty Gibbs. I hate to tell you, Charles. Plus 210 over the 945. No, don't do this, Charles. Don't. This is a group of heavy hitters. And
Charles, look into my eyes. Are you crazy? Over the 9? The 45, don't touch because he's not really good at these style of tracks.
Dude, he's a little better than.
What is going on over there, Charles?
Yeah, Ty Gibbs would be last in this group for me. I love you, Chuck. You're our guy over here. You know it, man.
And he kind of likes Austin Hill. There's something going on over there. Something going on over there. I don't know about this guy. Subscribe to the Hot Pass podcast, but there's something going on over there.
All right. I want to go to matchups, and we'll switch back to placement props here because I do want to bring up Ty Gibbs and another guy that you brought up. I am on Brad for an outright right now, 12 to 1. And the reason I went with Brad is, and the way I'm betting him specifically, Eric, is Bet Rivers has the top 5 insurance. So if Brad doesn't win and he still gets top 5, you can get your bet back as well. So that's a way I like to bet guys that I'm confident in. But and 12 to 1, I know Brad's usually a dog shit qualifier. So there was part of me that said, Seth, just fucking wait, wait. But then also qualified top 7 at Gateway. And I was like, okay, like maybe he's showing a little bit of speed. So I would not be surprised if you're waking up Sunday morning and this is a bad line and he's 16 to 1. but I like Brad, and I also like him over Ty Gibbs at ESPN Bet in a matchup here, minus 125 over Gibbs. Why I like Brad specifically, I think he's a huge value this week. He's one of just 3 drivers to be top 10 on those 3 comp tracks we spoke of. That's 9th in the total speed rankings at those tracks, 4th at Phoenix, 8th at Richmond, 3rd at Gateway. So he's been good at the short flats this season. And not only has he been one of the hottest cars in the garage, not only has he tested here, giving him another leg up, but he's arguably been the best here in an Xfinity car. Average finish of 3.0. He's been in the top 10, 7 out of 7 races, 3 wins, 332 laps led. So qualifying, that's my only hesitation here. Only hesitation on Brad. But still, I saw a stat out this week, Eric. I don't know if you saw it, but he has more green flag passes than anyone by a shit ton. He has 300.
He's an animal, man. He's an animal.
You're seeing it. You're seeing it. So even if he does, not qualify the best, I trust him to get up there. I really do.
Yeah, that's the only thing is, if he qualifies well, then he got me, right? But like 9 times out of 10, I have a qualifying matchup. I might give it out on here. It might make you guys have to go listen to mine, but I have a qualifying matchup parlay, and it's also fading. It's also fading Brad Keselowski because 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna win this because he's not very good. But if he beats me, then I'll put my money and make it back on Brad going top 5. Because if he qualifies well, he's like, as we saw, it's not a comp track, but we saw at Darlington. If he qualifies well, he's got a good car and he's going to be able to keep the track position. So then you can make your money back either way.
And why I specifically don't love Ty Gibbs here, he's never been here in anything. Like he's a youngster. He missed the Xfinity and the Truck Series runs here. And he's been top 10 at just one of our 3 short flat tracks this season. Obviously, he had a great run at Phoenix. But going back to last year on these comps, he's 3-5 versus Brad. So not a slam dunk here. I'm only going about like 1.3 units on it. I'm not going crazy. This isn't my bet of the week or anything, but I do like Brad over Ty Gibbs from a matchup perspective. Anything else you found in the matchup department in the Cup Series, Eric? Or groups as well?
I don't touch groups too much unless I
Yeah.
see something crazy. Yeah, it's just like I'll hit the odd one and go, woo, look at me go.
Yeah.
It's like doing a 1v3 in Call of Duty. You're like, I fucking did it, baby. It's rare, but sometimes you hit it, right? I do like that. Ty Gibbs, I'll just comment on yours. Is Ty Gibbs is he seemed to be really good at the beginning, and then now he's kind of like fizzled out. He's going through that summer drought, and maybe we'll see him back in the coming to the fall.
Sure.
So the matchup, baby, I'm hammering the shit out of this, and I'm giving. If you guys have Bet365, before, okay, so anybody's got Bet365, go over there, spank it like this is like I'm trying to be PG. But spank it like you know what I'm talking about, okay? And minus 150, Bubba Wallace over Austin Cindric. Now, we there's juice. I get it. That's a lot of juice.
Ooh.
But you're telling me that Austin Cindric is just going to randomly show up at this track? He's average finish at all tracks other than Gateway. Gateway, we know that's like the one track that he actually runs half decent at. And there was 2 better cars than him, and he probably shouldn't even won that race. Bubba is going to qualify he's probably going to be top 10 qualifying, or if not top 15. And Cindric is probably, even if he qualifies top 10, he'll probably, I almost knocked my fucking headphones off. I'm so excited about this. But like, he's going to be in the back at some point. His average before Gateway, his average finish was 25th or worse. So, like, he's like Bubba. The only time he'll ever be down to 25th is if some late race stuff happens where even if we're doing a choo-choo train, he gets caught a lap down or whatever. But even then, the Toyotas have speed. You got to look at Toyotas have speed. I'm spanking the shit out of this because I'm squeezing every last little bit of the books loving Cindric for some reason and putting him up there. I'm going to take it. 9 times out of 10, that bet is going to hit because Cindric is bad. So I will take it. Minus 150 over Austin Cindric. I know it's a lot of juice, but we're hammering it. Okay. That's the only matchup I've got pre-practice qualifying.
Okay. What about placement props, Eric? Anything you like from placement prop perspective that we haven't touched on so far?
Like position props?
Yeah. Yep.
Let me go over to my Action Network here. Follow me at Furlong Eric _ shameless plug. Alex Bowman. Okay. I think on a lot of books he's hovering around plus 150, plus 160, but Bet365 has him at plus 250.
Oh,
So
wow.
thank you very much. I will place a unit on that and ride off into the sunset. Because Alex Bowman, he's been good at Richmond. At this past Richmond race, he was racing inside the top 10. Bubba Wallace was top 5 as well. And then Larson, Bubba, and Bowman were all on the same strategy. And then if you guys all remember, Kyle Busch ever so slightly kisses the wall with his lips. And then caution comes out. I go, the hell was that? And it screwed up everything. Alex Bowman finishes really bad. Kyle, as I said earlier, Steve Letarte said that Kyle Larson will give their team will give all the data to them. Alex Bowman is he's just been a top 10 machine. So I will take plus 250 all day, because if he does qualify half decent, I doubt that line will still be there. So that's one positional prop. I was looking at, I just don't want to be too heavy on Chase. I was looking at him for a top 5. Now, let me go over and look. I talked about it on my podcast.
Even his top 10, even his top 10 number was not bad for Chase this week. I was really surprised to see it where I did. Minus 135 still hanging around out there at BetMGM for a top 10. So what are you seeing from a top 5 that you like?
Yeah, so I saw that too in Bet365. They moved it to minus 150, but he opened up at minus 125, and I was going to hammer the shit out of that. It just he scares me just a little bit, because sometimes, like, if he shows up, he's top 5. If he doesn't, he's like running like 20th.
Yeah.
So he's plus 250 for a top 5. If I'm taking into consideration what Ryan from Win the Race said, if he qualifies well, that definitely is not going to be there. So that's kind of making me hesitant a little bit. Like, I should probably take it. But that top 10, I was thinking about that too. If I was you guys, I would probably just hammer the shit out of that top 10. He's a Hendrick car. It should not be minus 135.
Yeah, the more I got later into the week and I had no Chase on my card, I kind of felt a little bit funny, just because I felt like I kind of got through last week, got very lucky and fortunate. He did catch the top 5, needed a little bullshit to happen. But yeah, 8 in the total speed rankings for Chase Elliott at the shorter flat tracks this season, and just been really, really solid, man, everywhere we're running. So top 10, I think I like that better than top 5, just because I'm a little lower on Chevy this week. I'll touch more on that. Staying here in placement props, I also like Kyle Larson, top Chevy, plus 145. I just think he's going to be the class of the Chevy field. I don't like Chevy that much, but I touched on him earlier why I like him. But we're giving the best guy in the field, the best driver potentially in the world, a shit ton of time on this track. He's been quick all season long. So I like him, top Chevy, plus 145. That's at Bet Rivers. Everywhere else, he's like plus 125. I need closer to plus 150 to bet a top Chevy. I also would like to throw out this fun one for you, Eric. If you go over to the Caesar Speakeasy, go in the back door there. If you guys can't find it, let us know. Sometimes they take this away as we get closer to the weekend too. But Todd Gilliland, under 21.5, minus 120 at Caesars. I win a unit and a half on this one. I love the top 20 market. When we get the top 20 market at Daytona or Talladega, sometimes we'll get it for those fuckery races, and I love it. Every single time we get it, I absolutely hammer a couple in there, but we don't usually get that. But this is kind of what we're getting here with Todd Gilliland. And since crashing at Dover, qualified very well at Dover, looked quick at Dover, dog shit day for him, dog shit finish. But he has since Dover, he has finished no worse than 17th in the last 5 races. His qualifying, his total speed might not always be there on the short flat track. So if you look at the advanced analytics, it's not great. However, he's got an aggressive crew chief. He's willing to get him positioned, staying out like he did a couple weeks ago at Gateway to lead some laps. And also looking at the comp tracks this season, 3 for 3. at being better than finishing 21st or better. Gateway 16th, Richmond 21st, Phoenix 17th. So it's close. I think he's going to be, a 17th to 20th place car. 2 truck races at Iowa for him, a 10th place finish and a 29th place finish, but he did crash out and started 4th that race. So I feel like he's kind of, we're raw dogging this a little bit. We don't know what we're going to get from Gilliland totally, but I'm willing to roll, man. Gilliland, he just got that extension too. Vibes are high over there right now.
Are you a leave it in or are you a pull out guy when you're raw dogging? This is the questions we need to be answered in the chats, boys.
Always pull out. Always pull out.
Always pull out. Oh, boy, you gotta leave it in every once in a while. It gets dangerous. You're allowed to risk it.
I do not need a kid right now. That's the last thing I need in my life. We don't need another.
It's
Seth
expensive
Jr.
to have a baby in America. Here in Canada, we pay insane taxes, but technically it's free.
Really? Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, but dude, I get taxed like $800 a week on my paycheck, so it ain't that. Yeah. So it ain't really free. This baby ain't free, baby.
Yeah.
The Todd Gilliland. It's gonna be interesting. They've been really good on getting those cautions. Like last year, they would try and stay out. They never got them. This year, they've just been like nailing them.
I agree completely. Charles in the chat saying Larson top Chevy still plus 145 on Bovada. Yeah, I would give that a look, man. I don't hate that.
If you think he's going to be so good, I don't know what his top 3 number is anywhere else, but I mainly use Bet365 because if they're listening, they better not be listening. But he's plus 220 for a top 3. I would probably take the plus 220 for a top 3. If you think he's going to be that good, I would take him top 3 because I think like Chase is going to fucking be there one way or another.
Chase and Byron are the only ones I worry about. Maybe Ross, but to me, I don't know if he will be a top. Like, I mean, I'm hoping. I bet on him.
He's not that good.
Well, I'm just saying.
I don't like Kyle Larson. I think he's boring. So this is my hate for Kyle Larson coming out on this podcast. If you like more of it, go check out my podcast.
All I'm saying is we've seen the Toyotas and the Fords lately at the short flat tracks really dominate. So I'm just worried about Chevy, but I think if there's one guy who can rise above the fucking ashes, it's going to be Kyle Larson. So, all right, let's, Kush saying, why do people call me on Thursday? A little late to the show, Kush. That's all right, though. You can go back and watch the beginning of this later on, man. We appreciate you.
Name.
Nonetheless. Oh, yeah, Kush is the best. Charles saying Larson top 3 plus 175 on Bovada. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't take that. I would wait.
Yeah, I like top Chevy better. Any other bets that you have for the Cup Series that we haven't touched on so far here in the specials market, placement prop, matchups, anything for you? I have one more I'd like to throw up before we shift to Xfinity, but I'd love to hear if you have anything on your card you'd like to give the IBT family.
I'm going to hold back on it so you guys go because I have a beautiful qualifying matchup. You guys can go listen to the Hot Pass podcast tomorrow. It comes out 5 a.m. every Friday. That's and then there's going to be like
early
when we talk about it. Oh yeah, it just comes out for audio. I'll edit the YouTube. It'll be out probably later on or whatever. But yeah, there's going to be one qualifying matchup parlay that you guys gotta go check out.
Okay. All right. So wake and bake, breakfast, beer, whatever you got to do. Make sure you're checking out the Hot Pass podcast tomorrow with Eric. All right. My special bet of the week. And I actually haven't had a ton of specials this season. So I'm excited to be back in this market a little bit. I'm going under 3.5 Chevys in the top 10, minus 105 at Caesars. I win 1.5 units. I talked about Larson, why I love Larson. Larson is one of just 3 Chevys in the top 14 in the total speed rankings at the short flat tracks this season. Outside of him, like, who do you trust? We've had a little bit of love for Chase Elliott on this podcast. Maybe Byron, maybe Ross. Like, that's really it at this point. And when you look at this bet specifically, under 3.5 Chevys in the top 10 at the short flats, 3 for 3, 100% so far. At Phoenix, we had just 1, Ross Chastain. At Richmond, we had 3, Larson, Chase, and Byron. Pretty chalk, kind of what we expect. And then Gateway, listen to this one, Dylan, Hocevar, and Larson.
Yeah,
And
that's crazy, dude.
and none of those have been like necessarily close sweats either, because the 11th place car has never been a Chevy in any of those 3 races. So minus 105 to fade the Chevs. Let's do it, baby. Let's fucking fire it up. Fuck the Chevys this week, baby. I'm going Ford. I'm going Toyota. It just fits their profile a little more. The only thing I'm worried about, Eric, and I don't know if you're worried about this, is the Toyotas at these tracks recently, Gateway and Sonoma, where we're dealing with some high RPMs, high wear on those engines. They've blown up. So that would be like the only thing I would worry about, is maybe we see some engine issues from Toyota, specifically in that 90+ degree heat Sunday night in Iowa.
Yeah, I think it's got to be more of like a Gateway thing because of how long like those straightaways are, right? Like those straightaways are typically longer, and then like you're using your engine so much more by able to slam it all the way up to like, 5th, 6th gear and then all the way down.
Yeah.
If you miss a shift, that's Christopher Bell must have done that, right? So I wouldn't be too worried about that. Okay. I love that. You said, what line did you get that at? What
minus 105 at Caesars?
I totally agree with that, man. I'm probably going to bet that. I'm going to take a note of that and bet that as well, because Ford and Toyota, I mean, they're like, as you stated with your statistics, it's most likely it's going to hit. And if it doesn't, okay, this time you lost. And the next time we go to another similar track to this, I would take it again.
Even going back to last year, 5 for 5, looking at the last 2 short flats of the year as well. So just something to keep in mind there. Let's go ahead. Let's shift to the Xfinity Series. No trucks this weekend, of course. They're taking a much needed vacation. Here we got the Xfinity Series. We're on NBC. 5s are going to be high as fuck for this one on Saturday. I'm just jazzed up here for it. So give me a couple drivers, couple bets. Like what are you looking at here from the Xfinity Series? Because I'm on like 3 drivers, and that's it. And if they shit the bed, my day's fucked. So what are we feeling here, Eric?
So for some reason, if we go to the books and you pull up your guy's phone right now, for some reason Jesse Love is like what is he, like the 4th or 5th favorite? I go, tell me what this man has done to get better than Austin Hill, better than Sam Mayer. Like, you're not. So I'll give you a matchup quick. Minus 115 on Bet365, Sam Mayer over Jesse Love. If Jesse Love beats me, cool. But it seems like Junior Motorsports, they show up on these tracks and they figure it out. Unless I love Brandon Jones. Him and I are like good acquaintances. I love him. But he can't figure out what the hell's going on. Like, he could pull it and then he'll toss off to 15th. But like Junior Motorsports shows up. Sam Mayer is a top 5 machine. He had probably, I arguably think, unfortunately, he got caught up on all the carnage at Phoenix. He had the best car there. Richmond, he ended up having some tire rub, and then Gateway, we don't go to. So like, he's going to be a top 5 car. So Jesse Love, try and beat him. Okay, please. And then I'll be sad boy.
We got Bob saying in the chat that Love has won here before. I believe this is where, if I'm correct, Iowa's like where ARCA West versus ARCA East kind of meet every single season. So you get a little battle there, and he has won in ARCA. And because I was wondering the same thing, Eric. I kind of did some digging into Jesse Love. He had a really nice run. I can't remember if it was Phoenix or if it was Richmond. He had a top 5 run, and I think that plus his ARCA experience here is pushing him up. But Sam Mayer versus him, just a little bit better equipment, a little bit better experience here, and even a better qualifier, I think, as well.
He's
Sam
supposed to be a good road course guy, and what did he do last week? Spun out on his own.
Yeah.
So I mean, like,
I was on the top 5 too, and it was on 8-1, and I was sweating it. And FanDuel even gave me a cash out before the race. I was on 60-1. And they gave me like a little like a 3x cash out, and my dad's like, you should take that, and I was like, Dad, you don't know what you're talking about. No, I held it, and so fuck myself there.
Dad's always right, but I mean, Jesse Love, I'm waiting. Like Talladega, it's Talladega. He got lucky as hell. I'm just waiting. Like, he hasn't really shown me everything. That number 2 car is good. I just want to wait, and majority of the time Sam Mayer is going to win. But like, if Jesse Love beats me, that little, like, it's the battle of the baby faces. So
Yeah.
I mean, Sam Mayer just has really good speed. I think he'll qualify probably outside the top 10. And then he'll drive right through everybody. So the one play, I'll give you guys this, and then I'll give you my other top fives, and my I'll give you one outright, and then you guys have to go listen to my podcast. Cole Custer has raced here. He has raced here, I think, 6 times, and at least half those times have been in the top 5, and then one other time was 6th. So you're telling me 4 out of the 6 times he's raced there, he's finished 6th or better, and you're giving me minus 120 for a top 5. I know that is juice, but I'm like, he's going to be good. He's going to qualify really well. He's been a little snake bitten. I know Stuart Haas is closing down. Sure. It scares everybody.
Sure.
But he qualifies well at these kind of tracks. So he's had speed. He's driven here before. He won the championship at Phoenix. He's good at Richmond. Like top 5. John Hunter Nemechek's there. Allgaier is going to be there. And then Chandler Smith could just dominate the whole race, but this is the only kind of track he does well at. But like Cole Custer could fill that 4th and 5th spot, no problem, or be battling for the lead. So I like that, because if he qualifies well, that's going to be like minus 200 for a top 5.
Yeah, I don't mind the play at all. I was on Chandler very heavy when we got Charlotte a couple weeks ago, and he burned me there, and I got off of him right ahead of the road courses, which I'm very fortunate, because he's been running really good the last 2 weeks at these road courses and just had dog shit finishes because he kind of gets spun around or he gets a little out of control. So I don't mind it, man. I'm a big Cole Custer guy. I'm a big Cole Custer Xfinity Series guy. I'm so glad that he kind of came down, reset his career a little bit. And I fucking love Joe Custer. If I ever see Joe Custer in person later this year, I just want to give it. I don't know. I was gonna say a handshake. Give him a handshake, but maybe a little smooch. Maybe a little smooch on the cheek. Hey,
depends on how many beers deep you are.
Yeah. Hey, Joe. Thanks for keeping the ship straight over there at SHR. But I love you.
It'll be interesting to see where he goes, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. We got Bob saying Allgaier is the best this week. I'll talk about Allgaier in a minute. Eric, do you have any outrights you're on here? It sounds like you're going to give us one. Can we get a little sneak preview? What do we got here? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm on the Cole Custer train, I think. And Cole Custer he's burnt me many of times. And I can never hit him. That's the one guy that eludes me. I see Bell, I hit 14-1 at Phoenix. But like Cole Custer, he's as good as John Hunter Nemechek, Allgaier, and Smith, C. Smith. And he's going to be 6-1 on Bet Rivers and Caesars, because if he qualifies well, which he probably will, he's going to be as like probably 4 or 5-1. I just want that little bit of extra little oomph to him. So I think he's going to be there, and he's driven here before. I like him. Allgaier, if we're going to talk about him, I'll get my piece out. He's coming on my podcast in the next couple of weeks. Him and I are homies. Yeah, so him and I, Sam Mayer and Brandon Jones, we've become really good acquaintances. Ryan Williams, who designs all the wraps and everything for Junior Motorsports, does all the shirts. Him and I are really good friends. Over the last couple of months, I have an interview with Ryan on my podcast from a while back. So those 3 are coming on the podcast in the near future. But like Allgaier, man, like I want him to win so bad. And I've told him in person, I want to bet on you, dude. I want to bet on you, but like the books love you. And then I was like, I got to be brutally honest. Something happens.
The piano drops out. He's like the high school love that you just keep going back to. You know you shouldn't. You know you should block that number, delete that fucking number. But when you get back in your hometown, the beers start flowing with the boys. You're hitting that fucking line. Hey, you up? You know what I mean? Meet me at the county line there. So
I'm gonna tell Justin that this is the line that you said that is like he's like a late night booty call. I'm gonna tell him. I'll fucking message him right now and be like, I'm on a live stream right now. This guy's calling you a booty call.
But with that being said, I'm going fucking back. I'm going back in on Allgaier. I went half a unit plus 350 at Caesars. I thought to get 3.5 to 1. I wasn't interested at 3-1, but 3.5 to run to 1. He's ran 16 races here. He should have won fucking Phoenix if that tire doesn't blow. Started 5th at Richmond as well. So I do like Allgaier here a little bit. I also went top Chevy just because I think it's him or Mayer. If you want to sprinkle a little bit on Mayer, I think that's fine as well. However, I do have 2 other drivers that are probably I'm even a little higher on this weekend. The one is the other favorite. Again, I'm a fucking favorite better. Shoot me in the head. I'm sorry. It paid off last week with SVG. Give me Chandler Smith plus 375 at ESPN. So almost fucking 4 to 1. And keep in mind, this is the guy who's won both comp races so far this season in Xfinity. Phoenix, Richmond, started top 4 both times. He's going to have fast speed off the truck. Even won at Richmond last year in colleague equipment in 2023. This is just his style track, man. He hasn't been good since Martinsville. He's hasn't been better than 7th. No top 5 for him. Luckily, I've not been on him. I'm going back to it, man. His first ever Truck Series race in his entire career was at Iowa. You know what he did that race? You know what he did, Eric? He started on the fucking pole. No. He's
I didn't win. Oh, okay.
He started on the pole. He led 55 laps and finished 8th. But that tells me something. Like, he obviously likes this track. If it was his first one that he ever came here in a truck. So I like Chandler Smith plus 375 at ESPN. I also like him top 3 at ESPN plus money, plus 110. Everywhere else, he's like minus money for a top 3. So I'm in with Chandy there. Any thoughts on Chandler before I throw out a little dark horse here?
Well, I have a 25 to 1 championship pick or a future on him. It was right like the day or the time it opened up. I saw 25 to 1 and I went, what? In a Joe Gibbs car. And then he goes and wins Phoenix. And then he won Richmond too, right?
Yeah. Yep.
He wins Richmond. If he goes and wins this, I'm just waiting on him because I don't want to touch him because if it drifts out, I'll take him. But like, win me my money at the end of the year because I put a full unit. It'll be a beautiful day if he wins. So mind your P's and Q's, Chandler. Go win this as another comp race and let me just sit back and go, oh, Phoenix is going to be beautiful if he can get there.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I don't hate that at all. Bob in the chat. He's on Chastain here. Listen, I took a little Chastain. Top 5 plus 420. I know it's a dog shit car, that 93, 92, one of those 90 numbers. But he's done it before as well. Like, Ross has gotten top 5s in this car before. He's good at the short flat tracks. I didn't bet him when he won the Truck Series race this year. Where was that? Darlington, I believe. So I don't mind him plus 420 for a top 5. 300 to 1. Are you sure it's not 30 to 1 you're seeing, Bob? I think it's 30 to 1 you're seeing. Yeah, it's 30 to 1. I think you're seeing, because I looked at him a little bit for the outright. I just couldn't get there.
There's no way he's winning this race, man.
It'd be tough, man. It would be top 5 though. I don't mind. However, my favorite top 5 of the weekend, a little long shot Xfinity here, plus 550. Corey Heim time in Xfinity Series. I went half a unit here. Dude, he's the short flat in the Truck Series. Like, this is his style race. He won Gateway going away. He won North Wilkesboro going away. And then this Sam Hunt Xfinity car, I know it's sometimes not always the best equipment. Started 6th at Richmond, finished 4th in that race. 22nd at Phoenix, so that's kind of terrible, but started 4th in that race. Starting position is going to be huge in this race. They'll be able to pass a little more than Cup, but it's still going to be tough to pass. And I think Corey Heim's going to put himself inside potentially the top 10, maybe the top 5 in qualifying. So I like him in this number 26 car. I really do.
Do you have the numbers of where he qualified at Richmond? Do you have that?
Yep. He qualified 6th at Richmond.
Okay. Yeah, because I really want to get on him. And I might take him. One guy that we haven't even mentioned, and he's racing in the 19. And his name is Brett motherfucking Moffitt, baby. And that is a man I am waiting because that guy can drive his ass off. He's my boy. He was my truck guy when he was winning championships. He was my Xfinity, random guy in the 25, and he got shafted over at AM Racing. You can go to my TikTok, say the 20,000 view video that of me trashing Haley Deegan, love Haley, but Brett should be in that car because he could drive his ass off. He's driven well here on comp tracks, and he's driven really well. I think he's driven here as well. And he drove in the O2, which is a butt team, drove it top 15 and then finished top 10 or whatever at one of the races. Like, the guy can drive. So it's Corey Heim I might sprinkle on, and I'm waiting for Brett Moffitt. I just want to see what's going on there. But Brett could be on the card. You have to wait.
Charles in the chat saying, nah, Deegan should go back to ARCA.
She should. I love Haley. She's great for the sport, but I really think go to dirt.
Dude, I don't know. I have no opinion on this. I was on her at fucking Talladega for a top 10, huge number, and she almost fucking hit it too. So I was.
They all see, because they all disrespect her too, right? Like I'm a big Riley Herbst fan, but he just left her out to dry.
Yep, that's what happened.
He should have kept with her. He should have stayed with her, and then he probably could have won the damn race.
Yeah.
So, and I had Riley Herbst that day, but Haley Deegan, we won't go down that road, but like, Haley's a great person. She's friendly. She's great for the sport. The main reason is, we all know, there's money that backs people, and money comes in.
Yep.
And there's nothing else you can really say. Brett doesn't have the sponsorship dollars, and when the sponsorship dollars come in, that money talks. So, yeah.
Before we pivot to our DFS tiers to round out the show, I just want to give out one more bet from the Xfinity side of things, talking about a guy you just spoke of, Brett Moffitt. So I'm going. This is my winning card. This is my bet of the week. This is my only bet I'm on 2 units so far this week. Winning car number odd -115 at Caesars. With this, you get Chandler Smith if he wins the race, or Allgaier. Those are my 2 favorites. I've already talked about them.
Wow, that's actually not bad.
Sam Mayer, Brett Moffitt. You get those. Like, those are the 4 guys I think who could really win. And
Austin Hill in there too, dude.
Yeah, Austin Hill.
That's not bad.
Ryan Sieg, Brandon Jones, SVG. Like, those are kind of some other names. Like, probably can't win this, but Chandler, Allgaier, Mayer, Moffitt, Hill -115.
Plus money.
-115, -115. So bad. Yeah, I like it, guys. I'm gonna be honest, and if it, like, you get beat here if Custer or if John Hunter Nemechek. So I know you're high on Custer, so maybe it's a way to hedge yourself, but I just don't believe in JHN at the shorter flats as much as everyone else. I know he's a truck win here, but his Xfinity starts at the shorter flats haven't been as great as Chandler's, as great as Allgaier's, and even like Mayer's, and Moffitt, I think could compete right up there with JHN. So I'm going to fade JHN. I'm going to fade Custer a little bit this week. It hurts me. I love me some Cole Custer.
John Hunter Nemechek is poo-poo in the Cup Series, and don't come down here and ruin our race for us. Don't make it a snooze fest, and don't wreck our guys that we're betting on, or this will be a feud at the track.
I hope so. I absolutely hope so. Guys, we're going to shift to our DFS tiers, and then we're going to do a Diecast giveaway at the end. So make sure, if you're new to the channel, let us know. Just type in subbed in the chat, and then we'll add you that giveaway here towards the end of the show as well. Let's go ahead. We'll round it out here with a little bit of tire tiers. All right, since we're going to be a little bit pressed for time, and I know you're a little bit new to the DFS streets here as well, Eric, I went ahead and laid out my rankings, and I just want some conjecture from you and the chat. Like, these aren't final. Let me know, where did I fuck up? Where did I get it right? And again, we're using DraftKings salary as well as FanTrack salary if you're playing in a more season-long format over there as well. So let's talk about driver A's here. A little bit different, a little bit of a shakeup here. It's been the last month outside of the road courses. It's been Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, MTJ, top 3 for me. I went with Larson. I've talked about him ad nauseum at this podcast. We're not betting on Bell this week, but I still like Christopher Bell this week as well. 10-8, you're paying for it on DraftKings, but I like him. Ryan Blaney, he's another short flat guy. Brad Keselowski tested here. And I just kind of threw Denny up here as a sign of respect. 48.4 DraftKings points per race, was good at Richmond, had backed his way into a top 2 finish at Gateway as well. Where did I get it wrong here at the top tier, Eric? What do you have feedback wise?
I've never touched DFS in my damn life. I don't even know what the heck you're talking about. So you're on your own on this one, my friend.
Any do you think Martin Truex Jr. from like a fantasy perspective that I'm too low? Because I don't know, man. With the retirement news, I don't know. I don't trust him. I don't trust him this week. I think there's a lot on his mind. We know that they call it Marty Monday over there at JGR, I'm sure, because he just goes fishing, and I don't even know if he shows up at the competition meetings on Monday.
He's slaying some fine tail. I saw her on Sunday, and I said, amen, and go keep fishing, because whatever you're doing, God bless. I think I like Truex. I got money on him for outright, so I'm against you on this one. But I honestly, I've never touched DFS. I've never even looked at it, so I am like, this is like foreign to me.
No, that's okay. That's okay. And like the also, I mean, I am looking for guys who can score DFS points. So there is some variance in the rankings, but also in general, this is kind of how I see finishing. Like if we go down to driver B's here, I have 7 guys in this tier. I see these guys all finishing close to the top 10. I have 12 that you got to put in 10, but I still like him a lot. Bob saying I don't trust him either. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that as always, my friend. Tyler Reddick leads off this tiers. Tyler Reddick kind of sneaky good at the shorter flats, not finish wise, but number 3 in the next gen total speed rankings here. So I do like Reddick. Logano on a new surface, so you can't fade him. Buscher's been fast everywhere we've been going as of lately. He also has a win here, I believe, in the Xfinity Series. So Buescher could be interesting. We talked about MTJ. Ross Chastain. I really like Ross this week. I don't trust him to bet on him. I thought about maybe getting down on top 10. I like him maybe in the Xfinity race for a long shot top 5, but I think being on the track helps, twice. Like, how do you feel? Do you weigh that at all when you're thinking about Ross this week? He's been like not terrible at the short flats, won Phoenix in the fall.
Yeah, I'm a big Ross fan. I love Ross. I think he'll be like just outside the top 10 kind of guy, and like he might be able to squeak in. So I think you have him placed
8,300. 8,300 is price tag, which is significantly lower than a lot of people in this tier, I think. So that's also kind of factors into this handicapping here on the DFS side as well.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at like where Bubba you've placed Bubba and Ty Gibbs, I think he should be, because I'm looking at like 4 and 10.
Yeah.
I think like he should be down there with them, I think. But
okay,
like I don't know DFS how to price everything. I don't
Sure.
know what 8,300 means, but like I just sit there and go, he's probably going to finish like around there. They're going to be competing with each other. So
he's another guy too. When the track is hot and slick, he's someone I trust a little more to get some passes. In DFS, you can get those differential points. So if you start in the back and you move your way up, you can get some bonus points there, which can be nice. And
yeah, Bubba doesn't seem to like hot and slick. Bubba, like he does not like his car loose. Like he falls back, man.
Well, and that's why I have Bubba down here in the C ranking. It's nothing against him. He comes in right around 11th in the total speed rankings at the short flats here in 2024. So not terrible, not great. Bubba's just been kind of average from DFS perspective. Ty Gibbs, another guy I just don't fully trust on the short flats yet. However, have I fucking lost my mind? Like Noah Gragson, I think deserves a little bit of love here. Finishes 12th at Phoenix earlier this season. Then comes back at some other short flats, has another 12th place run at Richmond. Am I high? I mean, well, that's a different question. Am I too high on Gragson? Am I too high on Josh Berry, who Berry just had a top 10 performance, really nice run for him at Gateway.
Yeah, and I don't think you're too. Did he finish Gateway or did he crash?
Oh, actually, I'm just looking. I think I was wrong on that. Yep, he did,
because he has been fast at these similar tracks, and he had a really fast car before he crashed. Like he started like 30th or something or around there, and he flew through the field. Within a couple of laps, I took him outright. I jinxed him.
Yeah,
and he crashed. But like I'll wait on him.
Yeah.
for like any other picks. I don't know how DFS goes, but like
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait on him and then take
Yeah.
whatever he goes as top 10 because he can fly on these tracks, man. So I
Yeah.
don't think you have him wrong. If this
Mhm.
is for like how they're gonna like relatively how they're probably gonna end up finishing, right?
Yeah.
I think Noah Gragson it might be one tier lower, but like Josh Berry, you might have him perfect or maybe even crazy. Call me crazy, but maybe even one higher, baby. I would swap
Okay.
Ross and Josh Berry around. That's
Ooh.
what I would do.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you
It's
might
crazy talk.
convince me before I put out the article tomorrow. I also want to talk about Carson Hocevar. I have him here in driver C. I don't usually get him all the way up into C, but this guy's been a fucking DFS tank for you, whatever platform you're playing on. Just a couple weeks ago at Gateway, finished 8th at that track. And it wasn't that long ago. Also had some really nice runs earlier this season. Specifically, I think it was at Phoenix where he finished 15th. So started 10th that day. So not a ton of differential points, but like this is kind of Hocevar's place. You know what I mean? He's good on short flats and like he's just outrunning Corey LaJoy so bad. Like I don't think any of us saw this coming, how good he was going to be, especially
Corey LaJoy
considering.
just has money, man. That guy, he shouldn't have a podcast. He should like
Oh,
this is just little old Eric talking, but I know some info. If you want to, we can talk after this. I know some info about Corey LaJoy that what people would go, don't like him after that.
wow.
So like Corey LaJoy, like he just has a lot of money and I don't think he has talent. If Carson Hocevar can just like, dude, you were in the 9 at Gateway and Hocevar was out driving you by like 15 spots. That's not
Sure.
good.
Sure. Sure. No, absolutely. Chase Briscoe, he rounds at that tier. Austin Cindric in it as well. Driver D's, this kind of starts with my front row love a little. What are you looking at here? What,
Alex Bowman, what kind of disrespect is this, huh?
dude, Alex Bowman, the short flats.
Kyle Busch belongs down there.
21st in the total speed rankings at the short flats for
Yeah.
Alex Bowman. I know he's kind of like Phoenix. I'm going to throw Phoenix out for Hendricks because they were off pit strategy. They kind of just got fucked over there. But Bowman started 4th at Richmond, finished 17th. That's going to make you minus points in DFS. I can't trust him there. And also same thing with Gateway's another asterisk mark for him too, because he blew the brakes apparently is what he put on X. So he was dog shit that day. I had him in a matchup over Ty Gibbs for some big money that someone shouted out in the chat that day. So I just don't have a great feel for Bowman, if that makes sense. Like he could come out and fucking win this race and I wouldn't be shocked, but there's nothing in the metrics that tell me that. But it's just
you're
because
just going, you're going by the metrics. You're doing the right thing, right? Because you don't want it to cost you.
What about Justin Haley? I think Justin Haley's another guy I'll be having in lineups here. Just a couple weeks ago, 9th at Gateway, and also hasn't been total dog shit at some of these other short flats that we've been to. Struggled at Richmond a little bit, but even early in the year at Phoenix had a nice run going at Phoenix as well. I think he did have a top 20 day or very close to a top 20 day. 24th, started 33rd, so he's not going to qualify well, but I mean, hats off to Justin fucking Haley here, Eric. He's been just, you don't see this out of a Rick Ware car. You never get like in the history of the show, the times that we've ranked Rick Ware cars above even in the D car, it's far in between.
Yeah. It's mind blowing. It's mind blowing what when they would talk about on like, Dale Jr. Download or Denny's podcast or like whatever, they would talk about it, like, or Door Bumper Clear. They talked about Justin Haley a lot when he moved to Rick Ware or he was on his way over.
Yeah.
And then they're like, he's got a lot of talent. And then he was, you could kind of see it when he was at super speedways and stuff, but like, obviously they were doing whatever they could with the piece of shit colleague cars.
Yeah.
This guy, like, I thought it was not the best move, but I was like, well, I guess we'll see. I mean, he's proven everybody wrong other than the guys that were in the industry. Good on Justin Haley. I think you've got him placed perfect. I mean,
yeah,
because he could be an absolute stunner all of a sudden.
And for the price tag right now, still 5,800. Like that's in the range of LaJoy, Nemechek, Zane Smith, HB. Like, Haley just sticks out, man. I like him a lot. I also like Eric Jones this week a little bit as well. He's one of the only guys. He's won in the trucks. He's won in the Xfinity Series here. He hasn't been total dog shit on short flats either this year. So I like a little bit of Eric Jones. Rounding out with F's here. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. He has 3 Xfinity Series wins. He was in great equipment back then. Let's not fool ourselves. He
Yeah.
hasn't looked good on short flats, but that's kind of what weighed into there. The 42 John Hunter Nemechek, same thing. He's won a truck race here. It's the only reason he's ranked. Ryan Preece has actually been kind of nice on the short flats this year, surprisingly. 18th in the total speed rankings here at the short flats. So a little Ryan Preece love finally ranked. AJ Allmendinger, a guy you can throw in there. He's not going to win you the week, but he's not going to fucking lose you. He just keeps the nose on the car, keeps it straight, finishes the race. And then Austin Dillon, God, he needs to get it together, man. But 22nd in the total speed rankings this year, and the 5th fastest car at Gateway finishes that race with a top 6 finish as well. Fluky as fuck for sure, but maybe a little Austin Dillon love finally.
The only place I will ever bet Austin Dillon is at Homestead, because he drove his ass off when all the betting community had a bunch of money on him top 10, and he drove from like 19th to 10th and passed Harvick for 10th on the final corner. Yeah. That was beautiful. That's the only time I'll ever touch Austin Dillon. Get out of that car, dude. You're ruining the name of the 3.
Yeah, I agree with you. No Corey LaJoie ranked this week for us. We touched on him. Maybe a little blackmail. Eric's got him on him. I'll learn about that after the show. Kaz Gralla. Kaz has been okay for DFS as of late, but this isn't the place to get invested with him. 35th in the total speed rankings. I just think you can do better. Like if you really need to a dart throw, then maybe if you got to go all the way to 5,100, HB, he's HB. We ain't throwing HB on the board. Daniel Hemrick. Listen, we were big Hemrick people earlier. Hemrick was coming through for us. He was optimal. Still not like maybe, I don't know. DFS point totals of 21, 35, 31, 25. I'm throwing him on the board. Hemrick deserves to be ranked, but 5,200, I don't hate it. And then Zane Smith. Ignore the 33 and the 84. They shouldn't be on here. Elliott did not take those out of the tiers, but any thoughts on can Zane Smith turn it around? We had Charles last week in the chat who was all up on Zane Smith. I think he even had a top 10 bet for him. He was playing him in DFS everywhere. Zane Smith didn't finish top 10, so he did burn some money, but finished 16th last week.
Yeah, I got nothing to say about Zane Smith. I mean,
that's okay.
When he was down in the truck series, he'd always be smiling, and he looks like one of those like hockey guys that I grew up with that you just want to like. He's got that punchable face. So
good looking dude. Good looking dude too.
And his lady is real nice. All right, I'm not gonna say, but she's real looking, real nice. Zane Smith. I mean, it's hard to even tell like how he got the Cup spot. Obviously, maybe some money, but and it'll be interesting to see where he goes. I wouldn't touch him in anything ever. I feel like it's a waste of money.
I can't this week. I cannot this week. We were coerced, bribed almost by Chuck last week to put him in our tiers, but he won't make it this week. But that is our DFS tiers. We'll put that out on the website tomorrow. I want to go ahead and round out the show though with a little bit of a giveaway. Again, this is a Tyler Reddick Xfinity number 2 diecast, and then also mystery diecast from Elliott here. So we're going to go ahead and spin this wheel. I'll give you about 10 seconds to let us know in the chat. If you don't see your name on this list somewhere, just shout us out. Let us know, hey, I'm not on that fucking list. I need to be in this giveaway drawing. And you have about a month to claim your prize. We let it go about a month for the last one, and they didn't claim it. So we'll give you about a month. Charles saying I was high on him last week. Only the numbers made sense for me for that top. Hey, it wasn't a bad bet, Charles, honestly, because just the fact that he was 16th, I mean, that's a good day for Zane Smith. So,
that chaos really played in his favor. Who would have saw that coming?
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. All right. I'm not seeing any last minute entrance. Kush, you're on the list. Don't worry. You're saying I can't even see the list. I don't know if you have bad eyesight, you're just stoned up, bro. But either way, you're definitely on there, my man. All right, let me add Eric too. I'm gonna add Eric. Just give a look.
My win. Oh, for the love of a G.
Are you subscribed on the channel, Eric? Are you subscribed?
Of course I am.
Okay. Good to know. If you win, you can even win it for yourself and then give it away. Yes, Chuck. Okay, so Chuck's asking for my phone number. I'll give you out my phone number. I've put my email address in the comments before. I've been spammed every day for about the last 2 months since doing that. So I'm not giving out my email, but I will shout out my phone number right now. Write it down here, Chuck. Okay.
You gotta
814.
instead of Justin Allgaier, instead of a Justin Allgaier late night booty call, you got Charles now.
I got Chuck. Charles, 814-558-4963. Again, that's Seth Woolcock at 814-558-4963. Text me all your NASCAR questions. No bad pictures. I don't need any weird pictures on my phone. I don't need,
Wiener.
yeah, don't send me any nudes, even if you're a girl.
You're getting a lot of Shrek. Yeah, you got a lot of Shrek wiener photos popping up soon, dude. Let me tell you.
Well, let's see what the bots do. Let's see how the wheel lands. Let's spin it. Here we go. Here we go. Who's going to take it home? All right, we got Dame. Dame's going to take it home. I know Dame Overboard, great supporter of the channel. She watches a lot of our NFL content and some of our NASCAR content as well. So shout out Dame. I'll definitely get that over to you. I might even see Dame in a couple months here at the Fantasy Football Expo in Ohio. So hopefully I do. Maybe I'll just bring it out there. Charles saying, nah, not booty calls over here. My wife would be jealous. LOL. Well, man, this has been a blast. Eric, thank you so much for taking up 90 minutes of your Thursday night, man. I know you got a busy life. I know you're recording probably a podcast later tonight yourself. So tell us how we can best support you, how we can find you, not just for 2024, but everything in general, man. How can we support you and everything you're doing over there at Hot Pass?
So yeah, I just started the podcast back in January, and we've got a lot of drivers coming on, and then young studs that are driving in late models and stuff. I just started up, so all you guys can basically do is just go to either X, Instagram, TikTok, and follow me at Furlong, as like horse racing, FURLONG, Furlong Eric __ on all social media platforms. You can go to Hot Pass Podcast on YouTube and just subscribe and share, and you know, the biggest thing is Justin Allgaier is coming on the podcast soon. So like that's the biggest podcast. And then once I know a couple guys in Stuart Haas, so we'll start getting more drivers. So if you guys just share it and then rate the podcast, it helps the algorithm. So that would be much appreciated.
Guys, go over to Hot Pass Podcast here on YouTube as well. Open up a new tab right now. I know you're on there watching us, so open up a new tab. Let's get this fucker over 100 subscribers. He deserves well over 100 subscribers.
Like that's what it looks like. It's backwards, but that's what it looks like. That's what you're looking for.
Okay. Yeah, there we got it. We got it there. Make sure you're supporting Eric, man. Eric, we can't thank you enough. Kush asking for my number. One more time here. One more time. Hopefully no bots are listening. 814-558-4963. If you don't get it, go back and watch it again. Hit me up. Like, I'll help you here through my text. I'll help you on YouTube if you have questions, in my DMs as well. We want to be just helpful, man. We want to be helpful. We don't always get it right here, but we have fun. We fire out fucking bets each and every single week. You can also catch my article on Betting Pros every Friday. That drops as well with my best bets, my full betting card. So if you're like, hey, you guys are moving too fucking fast, I don't know what Seth's betting on this week, full card is on there for free, man. It's all free. I'm on the Betting Pros app as well. I sync my bets each and every single weekend, but want to make sure you guys are checking that out as well.
Yeah. So I have my podcast comes out every Monday morning, 5 a.m. for audio, later on in the day for so like when you guys are on your way to work, Monday morning recap show and then interviews and stuff, and then Friday morning betting show every single week. And if you guys are hesitant, I can tell you my numbers. You can, I have my Action Network in the link in all my bios. All time for the Action Network, and this is just from like October. Sure. Almost 90 units just on Cup Series and like college basketball. Fuck Xfinity and truck. I think I'd be about 150 units all time just from like betting from last year. So I'm pretty good.
Better than
come
me.
At me if we don't hit.
Better than me, man. Better than me. Guys,
Cole Custer.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. This has been an awesome show. Thank you guys always for the support. We greatly appreciate it. Really enjoyed sipping on this exclusive Busch Light apple. My dad's had this in storage for the last 2 years. So
I'm jealous.
I got to sip on a couple of these this last week, and I have a couple left. But yeah, we'll be at Pocono here in about a month. About a month we'll be at Pocono. So if you guys can get us to like 1,200 subscribers, let's set that goal right now. 1,200 subscribers. We're at about 1020, 1025 right now. Get us to 1,200. Tell your mom, tell your girlfriend, whoever. Tell your neighbor. I don't really give a fuck if they watch. Just subscribe. And if we get to 1,200, we'll do another giveaway as well. And you can follow Eric at Furlong, Eric __. You can follow me on Twitter at between_SethFF. But thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you next time. Until then, you know what to do. Keep it in between. Thanks, y'all.